One and all, welcome back to Illustrated by D4S, where I'll be talking to you today about the first things you should do before you start drawing. My name is D4S and I will be your host. This episode's time-lapse features my original work Lenee and Lalina, characters I created back when years started with 19, so yes, I've been drawing for that long. I've succeeded and failed in different flavors, and this is my third try of this show, so hopefully I can help you on your artistic journey. You can find this and my other original works at lifeforever3.com. So you want to start creating some amazing artwork? Good! Turning an idea in your head into a physical image or tangible object is an amazing feeling, and I'm sure you've seen or liked something enough to translate that to paper yourself. You've probably started with sweet things like stick figures of your parents, then moved on to your favorite cartoon characters, and then that cringe notebook duel that crush you had when you were 27. But unlike your excuses for saying they were nice, your constructive artistic aspirations are all well and good. But leave your tools alone for now. Just because you're a beginner doesn't mean you gotta act like one. Now I specialize in digital art, but this goes for every other technique with paint, clay, charcoal, or whatever else you buy. Or steel, no judgment. Also, I'm not teaching you step by step how to create your individual drawing because the technique for each idea is different every single time. Why is that, you ask? Because objects in the real world, which will typically be your subject matter or muse, will suddenly give a new perspective the moment you move. You take photos at particular angles for a reason, usually subconsciously. You'll see online tutorials showing how artists created their certain works. When somebody pulls out a series of them, they usually follow a familiar formula. Sketch, line art, flat color, shadows, etc. But they also did something subtly different each time. You will too as you take on new challenges. All that rambling means that you're creating 2D representations of the real world, and they all have unique shapes, textures, and colors, and light reflects differently from each of them. Yeah, even that really shiny thing you saw but couldn't afford yesterday. These little considerations don't make or break your artwork since it's all ultimately about how you want others to see it, but the more convincing your subjects look and or the feeling they resonate, the more attention they'll most likely get. But forget thinking about fame because wanting that too hard breaks most people at this early stage. If you want attention, just scream at the top of your lungs somewhere. I'm here for if you want to enjoy the process of putting pen to paper or stylus to tablet in a meaningful way and have an easier time while doing it. I'm going to focus on rough sketches on paper and smooth line art using human characters for the next few episodes. So keep your hands off your tools. What, you thought the thinking was over? If so, your art career is over. Thanks for playing. Winners don't do drugs. A bunch of artists do, however, and while I don't advocate doing that to your head, you want to use your brain to consider what will keep you going back to the literal drawing board. I know they don't tell you this in school, but learning new stuff is actually hard. And while you have big dreams, you gotta be sure you actually like what's in your long-term artistic relationship. The divorce rate is high these days. I've been writing and drawing for my book series Street Pedal Black for a quarter century because I like human subjects, the action science fiction genre, the possibilities of digital artifacts, and most importantly, learning about all three. These are all the things I want from me as I work all day, all week, all month, all year. My point is that you shouldn't say, I want to learn how to draw. Instead, phrase it as, I want to know how to draw blank. Be specific. The goal of knowing feels a little better than the grind of learning. What if I told you the word algorithm doesn't have the letter E in it? There, you know something new already. I attended art school very briefly, and by that I mean I eventually took my time and money elsewhere. And they had us do what you usually expect, still lives and live models, but none of that is interesting if you want to draw boats, skyscrapers, or Lockheed SR-71 Blackbirds in your spare time. It's time to steal life and get obsessed with the first particular thing you want to draw. Go bird watching for a bit if you want designs with wings in them. If you love cars, it'll soon become second nature to draw the brake system behind the rims. Knowing the individual parts and why they're there will add to the realism, and you'll be proud of your progress when you review your older work. In fact, here's a before and after of these characters the only other time I drew them. Different time, man. The main thing is to stay interested. When you come home after a long, rewarding day of massaging fish or whatever it is productive adults do, artwork should be your refuge to create and stare at for hours on end. Make that thing your favorite thing. So, is it time to draw yet? Almost, but you need less frustrating tools and an easier start. Alright class, it's time to plan the materials you need and get a bunch of them. Get them in bulk if you need to. You don't want a supply crisis holding you back and have you thinking this is your one chance. Don't use the plain school-lined sheets or the office copy paper. You see enough of that every day. Go get something better, preferably acid-free. I recommend 0.3, 0.5, or 0.7mm mechanical pencils with 4H lead. Yeah, those H's and B's on your pencil actually mean stuff. You can try lighter ones like 5H, 6H, 7H, just enough that you can still make out the details. You're done with constantly sharpening wooden pencils and watching how hard you press against the paper. Mechanical pencils with special leads keep the same point and they're always light, easily erasable strokes. You'll need that since you're putting a certain amount of graphite on a really big or extremely small sheet of paper, and you'll be erasing as much or maybe even more than you'll be drawing. In that vein, get your eraser game up. Buy a variety of white erasers in different sizes. No more using the one on the pencil. I use thin mechanical pencils and mechanical erasers more than any other for precise edges in sketchbooks. Then you can go back to your trusty number 2 for the dark lines if you want. Now it's time to imagine what your final artwork will look like. What have you been daydreaming about all day? What's your subject doing? Walking? Running? Declaring bankruptcy? Start by drawing a very tiny figure, not even an inch big, in the corner of your paper. Instead of adding details to a normal size sketch that wasn't in the right pose or angle to begin with, here's a rehearsal before the rehearsal. You can draw the tiny example multiple times and choose your favorite, or keep sketching and erasing your small blob until it looks how you want. This is your active brainstorming. While you're doing this, you gotta remember the environment your subjects are in. I'm sure a majority of your works are set on this blue watery planet, so make sure gravity is actually happening. Clothes and hair should be hanging off the body towards the ground. If in space, tailor your art to the exact opposite. Also, if I can rant for a bit, why are spaceships always meeting each other perfectly oriented on screen? Like if you watch a movie or whatever, there's some established universal up and down or north and south, why is that thing? You know what, if that bothers you as much as me, leave a comment about it. Anyway, if you're depicting movement, your completely motionless artwork still has to show that. Try doing poses in the mirror and bring that realism to your sketch. If you can't afford a mirror, hire a film crew to create illegal action sequences out on the street and use some stills from the video. That way the contact, expressions, and incarceration are extremely realistic. Life Forever LLC does not condone taking this action and will laugh at any and all idiotic attempts. But we always appreciate support by subscribing to the channel and leaving some feedback in the comments. This video has been about the first steps to start drawing, and next time, I'm going to tell you that you're drawing too much. Move the media. Peace.